We're talking with Jason Smolen of Smolen-Plevy in Vienna, Virginia, about estate planning now that the fiscal cliff issues have been mostly decided. I think the first question people want to know, what changed in terms of estate taxes?
One change is for a taxable estate, it's gone from 35% to 40%. The tax has gone up. That's a significant increase in tax. An estate that in 2013 that is under $5,250,000 will not be taxed under federal law. For a family, for a husband and wife, since they each have that credit, it's $10,500,000. Gifting is the same number. So you can actually make gifts. And that's probably where most of the planning activity will take place, on gifts.
And the gifts is how much?
$5,250,000, the same as the estate. But I want to make sure everyone understands that it's the one and same number. You don't have both. If you give it while you're alive, you'll have nothing left to give without tax on estate.
What about yearly gifting?
The annual exclusion gifts have stayed the same. This year you can give $14,000 to as many people as you'd like. I can provide my address if anybody wants it.
Is there anything new or different for 2013 that clients should be aware of, or they should be doing? Or?
In the new environment that we have with the $5.25 million, we now have a lot more flexibility to make bigger picture planning, because we can gift more now. We don't have to do it in a rush. It's not a crisis. Now that we have this environment where we know what the number is, we're able to do longer range planning, do a arrangement that goes over a number of years, all, if it's done well, without incurring a gift tax and without incurring an estate tax. So we have a lot more flexibility to get things done.
The 35 to 40%, and you said that's a significant increase. Are there ways around that?
The idea is essentially to try to reduce as much that will go under that percentage rate. And the traditional tools are still there. Gifting to charity. There are ways of gifting to charity where you can retain an annuity, a charitable remainder annuity trust. All of these types of devices will be available. You know, another part that does have an impact on this is they've increased the capital gain rate. So that's gone from 15% to 20%, plus the healthcare tax for individuals earning over a certain amount of money adds another 3.8%. So now a capital sale is much more costly than it would have been in 2012. To the extent that impacts estate planning is if we wanted to set up a charitable estate or a charitable remainder trust, there's a bit more value to that now, because when you set up such a trust, sale and gain within a trust doesn't pay the capital gain tax. So you can take and convert assets in a charitable remainder trust, which pays you an annuity for your lifetime or for a period of years, and convert assets that were not performing into assets that throw off income, or, you know, in various tools that we have. And in that environment, you are now saving not only before 15% capital gain, you're now saving over 20% in capital gain, which means that you have more of your assets working for you within that trust to provide the benefit to you and ultimately a charitable beneficiary.
Will we be seeing more use of these charitable trusts?
I think you will, because I think any device that allows you to defer a tax and allow the asset to grow tax-free is a useful tool, and I think and the higher the tax, the more useful it is.
The fact that now we're 5 million and change, does that do away with the need for bypass trust?
It doesn't eliminate the need for a bypass trust. It just would impact to what degree it gets implemented or used. Clearly, if you have an estate that's not going to approach $1 million, and there are no businesses involved and there are simple assets, it's very much the core basic estate planning of, you know, my question is, when I'm talking to clients, I ask them, ignore taxes, ignore anything else, tell me what you would like to see happen. And, it's very interesting. They rarely think of it in those terms. But, getting clients to realize, well, if I'm gone, where do I want to see things go? How do I want to see things done? That's the core conversation. Then it's the add-ons or these other layers that you bring into it that deal with efficiency of transfer, taxes, things of that sort. So all that basic estate planning, what we didn't mention is children. They're not a taxable issue in the large sense of things. They're a significant cost issue, but they may not be a large tax issue. But making plannings for that, all that still exists. And I would tell almost any listener that they should be paying attention to these things and not think they can ignore it. But when you get to the tax planning side, having a bypass trust or a credit shelter trust, the way we fund it may vary to add more flexibility because we have a lot more economic room, a lot more room on the dollars on what we do and how we do it. But the concepts still stay the same. It's just the application of them.
So most of the people who are affected by this are high net worth clients.
The answer is yes and no. Certainly, no one would think that $10,500,000 or $5,250,000 isn't an awful lot of money. So from that perspective, yes, it sounds like it's just for the high net worth. However, there are also a lot of families that have businesses, and the individuals themselves may have salaries that are not astounding or considered in the top 1%, but their biggest asset is not cash, it's a business. And those businesses could have quite a bit of value, which could put somebody that has quite a few employees into the arena of being concerned about estate taxes. People put a great deal of effort in accumulating, earning, working. People will work 40 hours, 60 hours, 80 hours a week to earn what they earn, to keep the business going. They'll put zero in preserving what they have and protecting it. This is now a time where people should step back a little bit and say, okay, I've achieved something. I've achieved a degree of wealth, a degree of comfort. What do I need to do to protect it? And I can tell you that almost no one puts nearly the effort they should do in preserving what they have.
Best way to do that, contact you. Where do they get in touch with you?
Jason Smolen at Smolen-Plevy. The office phone number is 703-790-1900. And you can also reach us on the web at www.smolenplevy.com.